Welcome in to SportsSource.tv. This is our overtime segment. Brought to you, as always, by Jinx Logos. You see the number there on the screen, 865-755-7767. Jimmy Andrews. He is the working owner of the business, which means when you call him, you are getting the boss man. And he becomes basically a partner in your own business in terms of promoting your company with merchandise that can feature your logo embroidered or screen printed onto your items. Tremendous stuff. I've got all kinds of items for the Sports Source that Jimmy has done for us. He's the best I've ever dealt with in 20 years of doing this kind of thing. Jimmy Andrews, Jinx Logos. Give him a call. Guys, Kippy Brown announced his retirement from the Seattle Seahawks this week. He's been the receiving coach there since he left Tennessee after his brief stay here during the Lane Kiffin transition. He has been in the NFL for years. He's also been at Tennessee. He's been in the college ranks. Had Philip Fulmer survived the Dave Clawson years, he's told folks that he was going to bring in Kippy Brown to be his offensive coordinator. Kippy Brown was also on Tennessee staff when Lane Kiffin took off, and he was handed the interim gig and was told he'd have a shot in a real interview, and instead, in what may be it's the most disgraceful act from the University of Tennessee since giving George Cafago a used van for his retirement gift. Instead of giving Kippy Brown a real interview, they interviewed him while Mike Hamilton interviewed him here while other representatives were in Ruston on a plane cutting the deal with Derek Dooley. Just really bad, and Kippy Brown left as a result. In my book, that's two missed opportunities. Mm-hmm. If Philip Fulmer could have somehow cajoled him into coming to Tennessee instead of Dave Clawson the year before, who knows what would have happened with Philip Fulmer. If they have that losing season, they probably don't. He probably goes on. And then the other missed opportunity, the greater one, he's your interim coach. If you don't panic, and by the time you get turned down by 5 guys, maybe it's time to say, wait a second. Let's let Kippy be the interim for a year. Let's take our time, find the right guy. Basically what Arkansas did with John L. Smith. Didn't work out with John L. Smith, but it sure worked out in hiring the guy Brett Bielema to come in. To me, this is he represents one of the great missed opportunities in Tennessee football history, Tennessee sports history. Do you agree, disagree? Where does Kippy Brown rank on your list of missed opportunities for Tennessee?
Is it below number 1? I mean, to me it has to be. I saw an article a while back, and I thought it made a pretty good case. Derek Dooley isn't just the worst hire in the history of Tennessee. Derek Dooley is one of the worst hires in the history of the SEC. It's not just Tennessee. You can make that case when you compare them. So, yeah, Kippy Brown and the rush to judgment, as you've pointed out, and you had the guy here that was stabilizing things, and he would have been perfect even if it's just an interim coach and you let him get away. Yeah. So, to me, it's number 1.
And granted, hindsight's involved in that, but at the same time, I never believe in panic moves. And that post-Kiffin deal, from Hamilton through the rest of the athletic department, through boosters, that was pure panic all the way through. And I think they shot themselves in the foot. Even though it's hindsight 2020, at the time I would have said, chill out, don't freak out. Your thoughts on Kippy Brown as a missed opportunity?
It's hard to come up, like Chuck said, with something to be greater than number 1, although I still don't want to put it at number 1 because I'm not thinking fast enough. But here's the thing.
I've got 3 that I'll throw out to you guys that are comparable.
But here's the problem. If Kippy Brown had been a disaster, you're still better off than if you hired Derek Dooley.
Yes.
If Kippy Brown had been terrible, if he just said, you know what, guys, I'm sleeping late and I'm leaving the office early, y'all handle it, you're still better off. And so that's what makes it so bad. You couldn't have gotten much worse than what you did.
And I have enough confidence in Kippy Brown to where he would have had a chance to have been named the full-time coach after that year, because I think they would have had a decent season. You never would have hired Dooley because he was going to have another losing year at Louisiana Tech. So you sold him on 1-4-8. You weren't going to sell him on another losing year, so he'd have never been here. So, and I think the world of Kippy. I think he's a very good recruiter. He's a good football coach. He's a good person. He fit everything that you would want. He'd had nominal head coaching experience with, was it the Memphis Maniacs?
Yeah, the XFL.
Yeah, but I just think a lot of them, and I think that Tennessee would have been much better off had it named him the interim and just seeing how he could have done 1 year with the Tennessee program.
Yeah, and again, if it doesn't work out, then he takes a step back into an offensive coordinator role. Whoever you hire, you say, look, this guy's on your staff.
Or you even pull him into the athletic department.
You do something with him. You don't do what you did, and that's a sham interview. That was just really low class. Let me throw out 3 possibilities for missed opportunities, all right? One of them if they'd just gone one name down the list from Derek Dooley.
Kevin Sumlin.
Kevin Sumlin was a missed opportunity. Now he's done this at Texas A&M. I mean, it's not getting it's gone in the wrong direction, but still better than Derek Dooley. And so that would be one as a missed opportunity.
Yeah,
Same time period.
and obviously Sumlin would have taken the job.
Yeah.
But if Dooley had said no, then Sumlin was the next guy on the list. That's what Mike Hamilton told me. He said that was the next guy. So
Which makes you wonder why he was below Derek Dooley anyway.
Well, anyway.
Derek Dooley changed the way I look at hires because I used to give people the benefit of the doubt. When you hire a guy, hey, you've obviously done some work,
Yeah.
you know some things. After Derek Dooley, no more. If it looks bad, it's bad.
Another one missed opportunity. Don't know how well he would have worked out, but he would have had ups and downs. It's more stable than what Tennessee's been. Kevin Stallings. Doug Dickey was in the house and took a phone call from another coach, as the story goes, and you missed that opportunity because Stallings is like, "What the hell are you doing?" Taking that phone. So.
And I
saying that-
also heard with Kevin Stallings, a part of that was his wife, too, was not exactly enamored with the Knoxville community. That was one thing I heard just in looking at real estate.
well, the phone call took place. I'll just tell you this: that Kevin Stallings told me that that wasn't the reason. He said the reason was I didn't feel comfortable working for Doug Dickey. Now, would he have been?
I wonder if that's because of the phone call. Or partly. That had to go into the.
He said it didn't have anything to do with it. I'm just going to tell you what he told me.
Yeah.
All right. So, but anyway, would he have been a really good basketball coach? I think so. Now, he's had a tendency with his teams to where late in the year they kind of fade, or he has a lot of transfers. But he is a good basketball coach.
Let me throw another one out here. Possible was a missed opportunity in hindsight. Tennessee could have hired Johnny Majors when they hired Bill Battle. But instead, they went Battle, and it went downhill, and it turned out Majors did wonders at Pittsburgh, and it came around, and he eventually rebuilt things. So it worked out in the end. But that's another one that was a missed opportunity that, they're thinking that, Majors hasn't done it long enough. Well, he's done more at Iowa State than Battle had done here as an assistant coach. But that was one. Anybody think of any others? Those are three.
No,
pop to
well, here's the
mind.
thing too about Majors. He wouldn't have had to spend, was it 9 years or so before
Trying to
they
rebuild, yeah.
Yeah, because it was in place. And when Battle came in, they won at least 10 games
Yes.
3 years in a row, right?
Yeah.
So whoever was coming in was inheriting a great situation, and Majors, I think, would have been able to continue that.
Yeah, and you see how he recruited at Pittsburgh. He would have been able to do the same thing here. I love the fact that everybody always throws this out. Well, back then you could sign 100 guys, as if that's only Majors. That only applied
Yeah,
to
it
him.
only
So
applied to
every
him.
other team in the country could do the same. So that's that's one of those anti-Majors arguments that people throw out. Well, back then you could recruit 100 people.
Other missed opportunity.
So could every other team.
Yeah.
Other missed opportunity. You could have had the basketball coach at Wichita State.
Greg Marshall.
Marshall.
Is right. You could
That's
have
a good
His
hired
one.
him
name was
twice.
right there on my mind when I thought of that, and then by the
good
time I got around to saying it, I'm sitting there thinking, is it Peter Marshall?
Twice you could have hired him.
And
Yeah.
the only other one I could really think of, too, was the way you gave, John Chavis, like a 30-second interview to stay as defensive coordinator and said, no, thank you, hit the road.
Well, they brought him in to fire him.
Yeah, they brought
Yeah, I
him in
mean,
to
there
fire.
was,
They did.
but there was no way Lane. That was part of the deal that Monty comes with him. So 'cause that was
A
you
missed
could have kept him.
opportunity,
You could have
yes.
kept him, yeah. But when you couldn't have kept him if you're hiring Lane Kiffin.
But it's funny now. People look back at John Chavis and says, "Oh, why did we keep him?" When John Chavis was here, it's like, "Why do we got John Chavis?"
Third and Chavis.
Third and Chavis.
Third and
Mustang.
He became more popular when he left.
Yeah.
Mustang. Everybody thought the Mustang package was some big thing. It's a dime package. Everybody runs this. No, it's that Mustang. Now,
Fancy name for it.
now the Prowler.
Yeah.
That's a different deal. We'll do it over
We
time.
ought to
Just
do a
let you-
show on the Prowler. We can all stagger around the set while we're doing it.
We'll have to we'll have to do it online just so you can tell us your real uncensored feelings.
All
All
look
right.
like the fans at the Texlayer Bowl.
We'll see you next Sunday at 11. Scratch that. We'll see you next Sunday at 5 p.m. It's Indy 500 Day. Next Sunday, 5 p.m. on WATE 6. Mike Keith and John Wilkerson join me. See you next Sunday at 5.